Hi guys, well you may recall that we did a PC build about 6 months ago which focused on the AMD platform. Well today we're going to be switching over to Intel and our system is going to be utilising the Core i5-11600K and the Z590 chipset. Now the component shortage has kind of drifted into 2021, but things are beginning to look a bit more positive, a bit easier to get some of the hardware, and particularly in some areas they're improving. So particularly for the graphics card, for example, this one today, it's going to be easier to source. So today we're going to be going straight to the mid-range for our core components. On the table you can see the basis for our build, as I mentioned, is the Core i5-11600K. This is a 6-core CPU and turbo boost up to 4.9. And that is going to be cooled by the Corsair H115 Elite Cappelix, which is a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler. We've already reviewed that and it is a top pick. And it'll all be going into the ASRock Z590 Phantom Gaming Velocita. This board is a really nice affordable option and still comes in with a great selection of features. A 14-phase design, front USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 2 and Wi-Fi 6E to name just a few. We've gone with 16 gig of DDR4. This is the well-known Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro SL. The speed on this is an impressive 4000 MHz. 16 gig should be more than sufficient for a gaming build of this particular caliber. In the GPU department, we're going with the ASRock RX 6600 XT Phantom Gaming D. This graphics card here is perfect for 1080p gaming. It features a triple fan cooler as well as being the ideal partner for our Phantom Gaming Z590 board. And so the RGB should tie in pretty nicely. And again, we're going to be turning to Corsair for the case and the power supply. We've got the Corsair 5000D for the case that all of this kit is going to be going into. And then we've got the Corsair RM650, which is a 650 watt power supply that is 80 plus gold, and it is also modular, so it's going to keep all of those cables nice and tidy. So the finished product should look pretty good, but more importantly, it's going to also offer us that great, excellent performance for the mid-range, particularly when we're thinking about 1080p gaming. We're going to put the full system spec for this in the description for you guys to take a look at, and all that's left to do now is to get this machine built. Before we begin, today's video is brought to you by Corsair and the K70 RGB TKL Champion Series. This new mechanical gaming keyboard arrives in the 10 keyless form factor and boasts per key RGB backlighting as well as a durable aluminium frame. It also utilizes a tournament switch which allows the user to disable accidental macro activations and switch to static backlighting. K70 RGB TKL uses Corsair's Axon hyperprocessing technology, which enhances the speed of key inputs and delivers 8000 hyperpolling. To get yours, please check out the link in the description. Okay, well that is our gaming PC complete, and how good does it look? I know some of you folks aren't interested in the RGB lighting, but for those that are, this configuration looks really good, and of course it is eye-catching. The combo of ASRock's Phantom Gaming for both the board and the GPU creates this cohesive theme, and they obviously match up pretty perfect. The only slight blip that we did encounter was in the orientation of that 6600 XT, which was easy enough to install, but unfortunately the Corsair riser cable that we used would not provide us any output, which we later actually discovered is a PCI Express 4 conflict. And so the riser cable actually works in the bottom PCI Express, which is a PCI Express 3. But anyway, to get into Windows, to get those benchmarks complete, we installed directly in the GPU directly into the PCI Express on the board and just bypassed the cable altogether. Now, we have encountered this issue before with certain cables and boards, and certain cables and boards do actually work with PCI Express 4. I've got a system behind me which uses another ASRock board, and the only way we could get that to work was with a Thermaltake riser cable. But aside from that, that's the only slight problem that we encountered. Everything went really well, and of course the components in here work together like a dream. The Corsair 5000D has plenty of space and makes the job of getting kit inside very easy, and of course the cable management is exceptional in this case, with great clearance, cutouts, tools and areas to conceal those unsightly cables. Both the cooler and the case come with a fan controller, which also contributes to helping with that. Now, the basis for this build is the Intel Core i5-11600K, which is an excellent chip, and at this price point it brings in the 6 cores, performing very well as a mid-range part. Taking that CPU and putting it into the ASRock Z590 Phantom Gaming Velocita creates this perfect platform. This particular board here, as you've already pointed out, is kind of like in the mid-range in terms of the Z590s that you can buy in terms of its price. As I mentioned, it's a well-rounded board for the cost as a mid-range solution, giving us up to 10 ports on that rear I/O panel, solid power delivery and up to 3 M.2 slots. As you just saw in the gaming benchmarks that we ran, 1080 with everything maxed out. The combo of the i5 and the XT allows us to breach triple figures in terms of the frame rate. There are obviously a few exceptions with games which are poorly optimized or hugely demanding, things like Cyberpunk, but most games are going to give you performance upwards of 60 frames per second. The XT again is ideal for 1080, and under the guise of the Phantom Gaming, it has an exceptional cooler and it looks amazing. I really like what ASRock has done with that middle fan, giving us that RGB illumination. And the great thing is that the XT is widely available at the moment of producing this video, so you should be able to pick one up pretty easily. A massive thanks to ASRock and Corsair for supplying the parts for this PC build today. Corsair also supplied us with the Elgato key light for the production of the video, and that allowed us to control the lighting and get some really good shots and capture the best shots for the video. Now, the H115i Cappelix has already been reviewed at Vortez. It's an exceptional cooler both in terms of the performance and the visual display. We should also mention that the DDR4 in this rig is the Vengeance RGB Pro SL, 16 gig, 4000 megahertz, and that capacity and frequency are the sweet spot for this platform. It is perfect for gaming and will allow us to kind of jump out of game and perform tasks like editing that need to be undertaken. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build today. It has been a fun one to be involved in. Let me know what you think of this particular configuration, what it looks like, and also what you think of it in terms of the matching of the different components. Any questions, please drop them in the comments box below. The full system spec is going to be in the description for those interested. Take care guys, and until the next one.